Hello, good morning, sweet friends, and welcome to What's Up Universe for Friday, April the 19th. I had to double check that because April has been going past very, very quickly, thanks to, of course, this catapulting and catalytic energy of the eclipse that really has us. Not only does it rattle our cages to make change, but it is in the action oriented phase where we're implementing the changes and we're feeling, you could be feeling walks in two different ways. You might be feeling completely invigorated, or you might be completely in a place of still maybe feeling a little bit lost or confused about who you are, what you're here to do in this world, even what day it is. I mean, it really is just how the energy is playing with us. We are again, what's so beautiful is we're moving out of this really amped up intense energy, and we're moving into more grounded, more settled, more ease, more flow, and almost like the rest after the rest after the busy event. It's like if you had a big event on the weekend and Monday morning you're a little bit tired, you need a little bit of rest. That's exactly how we're coming off of this. And of course, this starts today. This is starting today, where we're just beginning to feel more settled after the influx of energy from the eclipse. It's still having its way with us for a few days here yet. It closes off this coming week. We've also got the full moon that it really kind of brings in the completion of this cycle for us. And again, where now the change that has been amplified or accelerated inside of us, we begin to take action, things begin to take form, we become focused and methodical and really, I want to say focused, or even moving towards creating what is that stability and foundation of the newness that is looking to unfold. So it really is, energy that's helping us to feel more grounded in who we are, more grounded in our I would say even in our energy, we're just even more grounded. Everything is just settled. And I know even for myself, I had probably one of the best sleeps, last night in what I've had for a really long time. And again, we're all in this together. We're flowing with it. It's having its way with all of us. But of course, in knowing that we are also being so divinely taken care of through all of this expansion energy. And that's really what does is we are expanding, we are growing, we are moving towards a up level or higher path in terms of how we're living our lives and how we're showing up in our lives. Mercury retrograde, of course, is going to be coming to completion as well this coming week. So it's like all of these radical in maybe huge energies that have it feeling a little wobbly and a little uncertain are really starting to settle. So this is, I mean, is it good news? Absolutely, because we are in a much more enlightened, much more, let's call it, improved state of being. And so it's really, it's beautiful, in, like I said, how divinely orchestrated everything is and how well taken care of we are through it all. So we start out, of course, as we come into this weekend, we've got some really magical things playing out over the weekend. We have the way, I was going to say there is an energy, so to speak, that is really helping us to rise above what might have otherwise been some of the drama, the pettiness, the egoic tendencies that really would have otherwise ruffled our feathers. Although I have to say, this morning, even in the completion of some of this energy, I was still feeling a little bit of tension and a little bit irritation, and really needing to be in some correspondence and communication very considerate of the words I was speaking, how I was expressing myself, but more importantly, the energy behind the words. And so to know that we, of course, have this sensitivity to the unseen world, we have this sensitivity to energy, the energy of spirit, the energy of the angels, the energies of the cosmos. And so because of it, we need to be very considerate. And again, as spiritual empaths, we need to be considerate of the energy that that we are being and the energy that we are contributing or putting out into the world. And that is really an important factor as we come into the start of this coming week, being very cognitive and or conscientious and of how we are positively addressing things in our life, positively interacting with other people, because the energy has an impact. And of course, how we're even talking to ourselves, how we are expressing or how we are communicating even with ourselves. Now, again, we are, there are things that happen, circumstances that come forward that, again, might be irritating or might otherwise cause a reaction. And here we need to be looking at how are we responding more than ever, because the eclipse is closing down this coming week, and we want to look at what is the energy that we are being that's closing off this cycle, because whatever closes off is what we're continuing with. So if we can be sit here in a place of being very conscientious, very attentive to the energy behind our actions, the energy behind our words, the energy that we are being or influencing in the world around us, which means we will also have more positive, more supportive, more yummy, delicious energy to support us after this eclipse season wraps up or comes into completion. So we need to be really taking, again, that self-responsibility. I talk about that often, where we need to be so responsible, not only for our actions, but again, where we're focusing our energy, how we're showing up, how we're utilizing our abilities and talents in the world, the impact, in terms of what our presence can mean for others, and always looking at how can we align and show up in the highest version of ourselves, in knowing that we're all working towards making the highest contribution to the world around us and to others. So it's really, really, a part of things that we need to be considerate of as this week begins to wrap up. Now there is also incredible momentum in energy as well, which means that if you have a to-do list that needs to get done, not only today will you feel more grounded and more focused and more clear on exactly what that's going to need to look like for you, you're also going to be able to readjust life in order to follow through with some of the things that need to be attended to. So we have really, gone through this massive reset, so to speak, where we've gone through some really big shifting and changing, even though we might be feeling a little discombobulated or uncertain as to what that actually means for us. But it is in terms of having, this incredible sense of trust in the universe, trust in the divine, trust that all things are happening for what is the best, based on the intentions that we have set, or with the seeds that we've planted for manifestation over this next, 6 months or whatever, however that will be, depending on the size of the dream or the size of the asking. Everything, these shifts, we can expect that there's going to be some really big life shifts that begin to take place for us in order for those greater manifestations to begin to come forward and through. So we need to be very conscientious. That's self-responsibility, making sure, as always, that we are being attentive to the energy, as I said, that we are being, but the energy that's around us or in support of us in terms of our health, our vitality, our sacred practices, all of that. So, we're moving into full moon here as well. We've got all of the upheaval from the eclipse. And so, as I shared last week, even this is such an important phase where we're looking at doing regular space and energy clearings. We're cleaning our own auric field. You might be looking at doing some chakra rebalancing, clearing those crystals, doing things so that the energy is always in expansion, is always in the highest frequency, and is always in support, of course, of your health and vitality, energetically as well as physically. Let's talk about physically, though, because with these shifts are coming, again, where our attention needs to, this year, in this universal year aid, our attention is on our physical life, our physical body, our physical homes, our physical relationships. So even though we are individuals who deal or work or are always connected to the non-physical experiences and communication, we are being planted, so to speak, to ensure that we are taking care and bringing balance to our physical world here this year as well. So because of it, the physical body is requiring that extra TLC. So invitations back. If you are consistent with those three basic spiritual needs, congratulations. I'm so glad that you are. It definitely is something that I adhere to, and I have become very practiced in ensuring that I'm taking care of, every single day. If you are neglectful of those three basic spiritual needs, let this be your invitation to become more diligent within the practice in terms of the self-care. Our physical bodies, you might be feeling a lot of physical tightness, a lot of physical tension, as the old energy that has been suppressed or we've been holding on to is looking to be cleared through the magnetization within the vibrational coatings, the new coatings within the subtle body system. So we need so we might be feeling achy, sore, and so our physical body requires, the nutrition, really paying attention to our minerals, our vitamins, looking at the food that we're putting into our body, changing even the frequency of the food, being able to alter and change it so that it is in service to your cells, so that your cells may be of service, and looking to alter and change even maybe our diets and what we've been eating, and really falling away out of the excuses in terms of things. It's like we make excuses for ourselves in the sense that, oh, I don't have enough time to cook a healthy meal, or an excuse is I'm not able to make that because I'm really it doesn't feel like it's what I want. Chocolate instead of the salad, because chocolate helps me to ground. That can be an excuse. We can get caught up in excuses or reasons why we avoid the nutrition. We also can, again, hydration, change our bodies requiring, I would say, excessive amounts of water at this time. Increasing hydration is really necessary. Hydration clears the brain fog. It helps to boost and bolster the vibrational or the emotional body. It helps to bring it up into a higher frequency. It also creates greater flow of that energy, so that energy isn't becoming embedded or stuck or suppressed inside of us. And this is the key here, my sweet mediums, is to know and understand that we are constantly being inundated by energy. We are constantly in receiving mode. And so because of it, we have to look at, this is incoming at us all the time. We need to, again, that's that responsibility that says this is energy that I'm constantly processing, energy I'm constantly feeling, energy I'm constantly dealing with. And so looking at the ways that help to offset the influx that we are receiving is not only, a recommendation, it's something that is so important and necessary for our overall well-being. And so anything we can do, and that's why these three basic spiritual needs, you've heard me talk about them so often, because they hold so much value to us, not only in terms of our physical body, but in terms of our connection with the non-physical world. So hydration for the body, again, you might be feeling with hydration a little bit more depressed, so to speak. And so water, of course, increases or creates some buoyancy. It helps mentally for us to have mental clarity, for us to have the positive thoughts, all of those things, because it helps to bolster it. But it can also work in the opposite, which is if we are staying in the negative mindset, if we're not actively engaging in what is our energetic responsibility, that lack of hydration can cause I mean, as I've shared with you, it can cause almost like a contraction of our physical body, which only increases that tension and increases the tightness that we might be feeling. So with hydration, it's going to help the body to relax. It's going to help it to be able to manage or process or move this energy through us instead of the energy becoming a part of us. Now, that being said, if we are hydrating lots and we're also in that negative mindset, or we're feeling helpless and we've lost our faith and we're in distrust, that's also going to feel a little bit more magnifying under this energy right now as well. So doing what we can in terms of not, looking at honoring the body, taking care of it on nutritionally, taking care of it through hydration. We're able to then work with the mindset. And again, as I said, the energy behind what we're putting out there, the energy behind our words is also the energy behind the thoughts that we're having. And so we need to be very conscientious, because just like, a quartz crystal, there's such a magnification of what is being cleared for us. So we want to make sure that we are doing our part to ensure that, whatever needs to rise to the surface and whatever is out of date can absolutely fall away and dissolve, so that we can have this beautiful this reset can really be accepted and take place for us. And of course, the other is exercise. This is, where we're not in a this is not aggressive, work your body hard, strain the muscles, etc. We just want to be able to move the body, to be able to help and express and take care of what our physical body requires for us to be able to have strength, to be able to have mobility, to be able to have what is necessary for us in having this solid foundation, the solid foundation. Now, since we have moved into energies that are more grounding for us, that being said, in terms of the solid foundation, as we move into this full moon, I would really encourage you to look at working within your chakra system, especially those that support your physical life here, of course, meaning the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, looking at balancing, looking at working and bringing and cleaning and aligning those energy centers. Those energy centers, of course, as you know, the root sets the foundation for everything. The root is where our trust is birthed from. It's where our sense of safety and security comes from through times of great change, which of course we are in right now. But it's also that energy that moves up and supports all the rest of that energy system for us to be able to not only, have the vitality in our day-to-day life, and for our physical body to have all the energy that's going to support the health and vitality, but also in terms of these increased connections to the other side. Now, we're looking at taking care of everything. Not only are we coming off the completion, or the eclipse season is ending, we're ending with a full moon, which of course you know and understand creates what is this connection to, or increases the connection to the non-physical. The full moon activates our emotional body, and so it's going to be pulling up all this energy and pulling up all this stuff that have been suppressed inside of us. Again, it's the clearing and healing process that takes place for us every single month. But there is a lot in terms of, I want to say, we're coming in here in terms of what we've been carrying, what we've been carrying mentally, what we've been carrying emotionally, what we've been carrying that's been suppressed physically for us, is everything that's looking to be processed and released here. And so we need to take what is, I want to say, almost like a become more diligent in terms of being of taking care of ourselves than maybe what we have even previously. So everything continues to be this invitation of the self-responsibility, increasing self-care, working in terms of our mindset, and being very conscientious of the energy we're being, what we're putting out there, etc. Because this full moon, with the closure of this eclipse season, is very very I want to say important, seems almost like like a word that doesn't even describe the transformation that it represents and what it means for us. So we're wanting to make sure that we're doing our part. We are, this full moon, of course, is going to be in Scorpio. Scorpio, of course, is one of the most psychic and one of the most tuned in, tapped in of the water signs in terms of our communication with the non-physical worlds or the unseen. And so it's increasing our sensitivity. It's really amplifying and increasing our sensitivity to what is physically going on around us, our sensitivity to the non-physical world, to the spirit world, which means that, like every full moon, it's pulling out all this crusted stuff, all the suppressed stuff, the tension, the agitation, the emotional imbalances that are in the collective or in our environments around us, our communities. And so empathically, we are going to really be sensitive to what's happening in the outer world, which means we need to be super attentive to taking care of what's going on in our inner world over this next week. So this again, as I said, all areas of life are kind of coming to surface. These are kind of heavier energies that are starting to come forward to us. There's like a pressure building as the full moon is approaching. And so we need to look at, how do we alleviate that pressure? How do we express that energy so that energy doesn't become us, right? We need to always be recognizing everything as energy. I recognize the energy of depression. I recognize the energy of anger. I recognize the energy of joy. We want to make sure that we're constantly attentive to the fact that we are letting all of this bypass us instead of letting it lock into our systems or lock into our energy fields. And then now we need to process it, deal with it. Now it's become a part of us. As again, I will say this time and time again, that if you have absorbed it, if you have taken it on, if you are holding it, it's like there's no sense be getting upset over the fact that, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't handle people. And oh my gosh, that person's so negative. I can't take their energy. There all of these things and all of this frustration that can sometimes be expressed from empaths, that really diminishes your power, and it diminishes your I'm going to say the gift of what is available to you. And to understand that from that soul perspective, we've signed on to do this. We know how to easily work with this. And if we have absorbed or taken on or feeling the heavy weightedness or the density of these energies, it is our responsibility to clear it. It is our responsibility to take care of it. It is our responsibility to do what we can to process and to move it so that it's not creating a deficit or a limitation, whether it be for us or whether it be for other people. If we've taken it on, it is our responsibility. So the key here is to look at, how do we work and be and show up in the energy stream of these highly intense times without it becoming more difficult for us in terms of our day-to-day life, or even our energy sensitivity. So we look at recognizing energy, understanding it as energy, doing the things that we can, even if you do feel good, and even if you did already do a space and energy clearing last weekend. This is, if even if you did charge your crystals, like whatever it is, the invitation is, let's do it again, because just like we are constantly absorbing, our environments are constantly absorbing, our crystals are constantly absorbing. And so we need to look at releasing. This is a time of great clearing and a time of great release. So we can do lots in order to ensure that not only are we creating what is the stability of the energies around us that support us, but it's holding consistently within the vibration, so that we're always increasing the wellness, we're always increasing the vibration, we're always increasing the good that we're experiencing. So again, it doesn't matter, as I said, if you've just recently done one, I want to encourage you this weekend and through the full moon, of course, coming up, that you're looking to do that as well. With the full moon, of course, there's a lot of as we know, there's a lot of tension in the skies. There's a lot that's coming up for humanity. A lot is being stirred through and through the transformative energies, even from the eclipse. And so we need to be a little extra attentive to it. We're looking at, how are we creating our life? How are we creating our experiences in our life? And to know that we are the co-creators of this. And so even our experiences with the non-physical world are a part of what we've also created. So what I mean here again is if we are in fear and we are not attending to our the belief systems, taking care of what we've energetically brought in, or when our times when our vibration drops, if we're not doing things to create some stabilization within our own energy, then it's basically like an invitation for lower vibrating experiences with the non-physical world as well. So we need to be very conscientious about this. And again, this is, I speak about this all the time, but because it's a cycle that we go through every single month. And so there are things that we can do to healthfully support ourselves. And of course, things that we maybe can be unhealthy ways to approach some of this as well. So my goal here and my hope is to try to make this as easy as possible as we cycle through all of these energies. And of course, that we are nurturing ourselves, that we are the medium, as you've heard me say, if you've taken training with me, is the most important element in doing this work. And so without us taking care of ourselves in the best possible way, we can't show up in the best possible way for other people. So and again, for other people, or even for the spirit world. And so we want to make sure that we're always engaging in ways and ways of being and doing the very things that help to support our sensitivity, as well as support those healthy connections with the non-physical world. The other part of it, as we're coming up into full moon, I want to just say you're going to see, because it sits in Scorpio, not only are you going to have a lot of sensitivity to these energies, it's going to be a very heightened awareness to what action steps, what choices are on the table for you, as well as what decisions to make, like the solutions to the challenge, the solution to the problems can be found through our connection to the non-physical. So whatever you can do over this next week, especially as this eclipse season is coming to a close, sit down, meditate, do some automatic writing, do some journaling, find out what is in what next step it is for you to take along your journey. What is the best advice or solution that your team has to offer from the non-physical world? And what is it that, maybe you're being asked to take action on that you haven't realized was a part of your calling? This is a great time to have those deepened conversations in terms of, and again, the more we can connect to our inner world, the more positive contribution we can be to the outer world. And so increase of sensitivity, increase of connection to the spirit world, to those loved ones on the other side, lots of healing, lots of transformation, and lots of opportunity to seek counsel and to seek the support and help of the non-physical in order to help conceptualize as well as manifest the things that are most aligned with our heart, and what will of course be a great contribution to our life and the lives of others. So this next week, I really want to invite you, stay open to the messages, watch for the synchronicities, celebrate the awareness when you have in the moment of something, of a aha moment. The more that we can do this, we are receiving clues every single day. We are receiving clues every single moment. And so all these pieces are going to be dropping in, coming in over this next week, in helping us in terms of what will be long-term benefits, long-term ways of living and being, long-term ways in which we can be of service or of the greatest service in alignment with what is our soul's highest purpose. All right, my sweet friends, God bless. Thank you so much for being here. Truly love and appreciate each and every one of you. And until we meet again, all right, bye-bye for now.